Test.
Check.
Mike.
Test.
Remix. I saw that. Third place? That's awesome. So did she?
Test, 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 test. Test. Test, test. Test.
Oh, do you want one for the back? Yeah, do that one.
Did you?
What is that? Transition? Oh. So you're figuring things out now? Yeah. Pretty intuitive. Need a few of us just to come in here and we'll have like a mock meeting and you can play with.
Because, like, sat down, I'm like, oh, let's go Zoom. Well, Mix Effects 2, if I hit Zoom, is the broadcast, but then Mix Effect 1 is what's on the projector. So I was showing what I was sending.
Oh.
I was going like this. It was weird.
Oh, I saw the
So we
cascade.
called there. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw the cascade thing.
Oh, that's pretty small.
How much?
13%.
13%. Oh, jeez.
I got my charger. You want a charger? Here's a charger right up there.
I don't think so. I'll just pretend that
Well, what you could do is close your computer and pay attention to the meeting.
We're taking notes. Yeah. I could do that, at least for this one. Well, this is one I probably need to.
Pay attention, right?
So, all right,
I know you always pay attention to Nathan's.
always, always.
Test.
Very clear. A little bit of delay.
Chair Albrecht. Here. Vice Chair Carney.
Here.
Mr. Monroe. Mr. Mylart.
Here.
Mr. Hudson. Here. Ms. Foney.
Here.
Sir, we have a quorum.
We need a motion to approve the minutes, so we'll do this in a minute before we get going.
Yeah, there's one your mic on.
Need a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Make a motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Before we get started, we thank you for being here. This is a committee meeting. The purpose of these meetings is to hear information from the staff, applicants, and citizens, and then make recommendations to the city council. For each agenda item, the staff will first present the items, then the committee and the elected officials will have a chance to ask questions, and then the public will have an opportunity to make any statement. Any action taken tonight in committee meetings will be advisory only and appear as a recommendation at the city council meeting, in which the entire city council will have an opportunity to vote on the matter. We want to hear from what everybody has to say, but ask that the rules of procedure are followed. Anyone who wishes to speak must step up to the microphone up here in the front. You will have 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes to make your statement. Please direct your comments to the committee on the dais and not to individual members of the committee, staff, or anyone else in attendance. We look forward to hearing from you. Okay, we don't have any items requiring council action, so we'll get on with 3.1, which I think is what everybody's here to talk about tonight. Andrew?
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. So looking forward to tonight and getting a lot of feedback from the council. So there's a lot of information that we'll go over. So just to kind of update everybody before we go through the slides so you know what's coming next is we're just going to talk about the site plan and where everything's being laid out. We'll talk about the pool slide options that were approved through the Build-A-Fallon Trust Fund last Monday. We're going to talk about the trees in the park that are going to be removed. We got some parking estimates on what we need for the facility, so we'll talk about those. And then we'll compare the old site to the new site so you can kind of see what's there now versus what's going to be there. And I'd love to have a thoughtful discussion on the outdoor kitchen, how best to replace it, an open discussion on the event space area and what will be included, and then a discussion on the multi-purpose facility and its potential uses. So just to kind of let everyone know what we're talking about. So, okay, so I've put a rendering or an aerial of the park, so just so everyone can get a scale of where everything is from an overhead view. So you can see on the south side or on the bottom of the page, we have McDonald's and Dairy Queen, all those things down here. Then we have Route 50 going east to west, and as you go north, we've got Blazer Field, we've got the tennis courts, we've got the old pool, and then we have the gravel area, the 3 pavilions, and the Katy Caven Center. So just kind of remember this picture as we go through this, the next couple of slides. So here's the picture again. We've just blown it up so everyone can just see the area that we're talking about doing the redevelopment. Again, the pavilions, a large pavilion, the outdoor restrooms, and the pool. So what we're going to do is the new pool will be situated there. It's a little bit east of where the current pool is now, closer in the middle of that baseball field, softball field there, which is field 5. And then the event space area will basically be grass. I'm sorry, the event space area in front of the pavilion where people sit, which is on top of the old pool, will basically be grass, meant for people to lay out blankets, sit down, listen to music, or watch the performance. We will be demoing the kitchen as well as these 3 pavilions, so those will all go in the redevelopment, okay? On top of those 3 pavilions there, we'll put the multi-purpose facility. And that multi-purpose facility will include things as not only a programming room, but we'll also have some athletic courts in there as well to do different athletic activities. And I think at this time, it's probably a good a good time to mention a couple things about that multipurpose facility is that, one, I think we should refrain from calling it a gym, because calling it a gym takes away from the other events that we will do there. So just because there is a gym in it, it's still multi-purpose. So we want to have lots of rentals there. We want to have lots of birthday parties there. We want to have lots of trivia nights there. So let's not pin it into a gym, because it's going to be more than that. And then also, when we talk about how the multipurpose facility relates to the rest of the area, it's really important that we all kind of understand the events that could potentially be going on there. So, and then also a little bomb that I want to drop on everybody that we've just become known about is that the facility, many years ago when they redeveloped the Katie Caven Center, the Caven's family provided funding to do the updates to the Katie Caven Center. Well, part of that agreement was that we called the new facility, that if we ever replace it or move it, it also has to be called the Katie Caven Center. So this facility, we can kind of take the naming rights off the table, because there was a resolution done in 1995 that did note that any replacement of the current Caven Center has to be called the Caven Center. So good and bad for us. We don't have to really change the address or the name or any kind of Google searches. It'll all be right there. But anybody who wanted to have a thought of renaming it or a new sponsorship, we are prevented from doing that via resolution way back in the mid-90s. So, okay, as we continue on. The Caven Center will become a parking lot. So we'll just demo that building and put new parking spots there. And we're going through the abatement process now. We have to have the building tested to see if there's any kind of materials that may be hazardous to residents or anybody when we demo it. So we are going through that process right now. And then this is the overall view of the new area. So you can see, I've just made nicer pictures where you can see how the stage and the pavilion flows into a grassy area where we're going to put the multipurpose facility, defined parking. So just a nicer picture. So again, the old picture and the new picture. So everyone kind of has a scale of what we're doing. Okay, the next thing that I think we want to talk about is, yep.
Would you like to pause, see if there's anyone has any questions at this point?
Sure.
And also, at least, I don't know if you mentioned, but those 3 small pavilions that you said were taken out for the multipurpose center, they are replaced on the south side there.
That's correct. And I have some pictures of what they'll be like later and a few more slides. So great time for questions from the council, or?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Andrew,
Yeah.
look, I got one, Jerry, sorry. Thanks for all the hard work first, Andrew. I thought the new pool was gonna be in the exact footprint of the existing pool, but it seems we moved it east. What's the reason behind that? And we're gonna lose that ball field, so is that gonna cause any scheduling conflicts with sports or anything?
No, it won't cause any conflicts. We'll move over to Field 3, which is typically what we've used for rental fields. So we'll move over to Field 3, and then we have plans to build another field at Barron Street. So we'll eventually build a couple fields at Barron Street to replace any kind of fields that we're losing here.
What was the reason for moving it further east?
So if we wanted to maintain the operation of the pool next summer, we had to move it off the pool area, so that allows for the construction. And we didn't really want to close the pool down during the middle of the summer or not open it next year. So that was the reason why we shifted it over a little bit, so we could do construction and maintain the operation of the pool at the same time.
Just one more question, it's kind of minute, but appears as though you're gonna plant a lot of new trees. Is that what the light green ones are, right? Are those gonna be saplings, or you're gonna bring in like full-size trees, or what? Because the ones at the sports park, obviously, have been there for quite some time. They're still really small, so.
Let's table that question until a few more minutes. I've got the landscaping plan that I'll show you in a few minutes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
Okay.
I have a few.
Yeah. Well, I have more to go as well, so I might answer your question too. Yeah.
So I had a question pertaining to what you've already said. You talked about the naming rights and how it's a no-go We do the Vine Street Market at O'Fallon Station. Couldn't we do Andrew Dahlner's multipurpose facility at the Katie Caven Center?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we can
still
call
could-
my name. Ain't,
We
it's,
we still
it's-
could,
it
I was
is a
gonna say
great-
Ross Rosenberg, but we still could do that and maybe bring in some money on pseudo naming rights.
I will answer that we would probably get a legal opinion on that, but yeah, there's potential to do that for sure.
Anybody else? Jessica?
Unless you're going to talk about it later, now might be a good time to ask about the flow for the summer camps and how you envision the traffic and the actual dropping off of the children going.
Yeah, great question. So on here, this is a great rendering because they put these white lines here, and so you can really see when you come in, you would have this area to drop off, and then this white line is kind of going to the west, and then this line is going to the east. So there is two-way traffic flow as well as a drop-off area. So we would envision people stopping, dropping off, and then going.
So much like the carpool that started this year, or that line that started this year.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that worked really well.
yeah. You know, as time goes on, we'll have to see if it works, but we believe there's plenty of room there.
I have a couple of questions. Oh, go ahead. Roy, go ahead, go ahead.
The street is going to go through, right, flow through? Or will it just go, what would have been by the Katy, what is this street?
It's the cross street.
Park Street, maybe? Yeah, so as of right now, there will be some traffic flow through, but we do believe that there will be traffic calming as we've been using lately because of all the parking that's there, so it's just going to be a natural way for people to slow down.
Okay. I have a question about, right now, how many parking places are available at the park? Let me put it that way.
I have a parking slide in a few minutes, so we can go over any parking questions in a few minutes when we see the slide.
And another one is the multipurpose facility will be provide significantly smaller space than what we currently have in the Katy Cavens.
Not necessarily. So when you consider the upstairs and the downstairs of the Caven Center, it's about 10,000 square foot. And then the event space area in the multipurpose room will be about 10,000 square foot. The entire facility is 11,000 square foot as of right now. So they would be similar. The advantage is that you won't be on 2 floors. So you'll have an event space that's bigger than the Caven Center is now. So you won't have to have 2 floors.
The pool capacity will be larger than the current one, right?
Correct.
And those people, that overflow parking is gonna be, you're gonna talk about in the parking.
Yep.
Okay. And we're putting a lot of things in here that attract people. So that's my concern, that's where my concern comes from about the parking. So if we looked at potential attendance and do a worst case, you know, here's a nice summer day with the pool open and camp going on and something in that amphitheater. What are we gonna do? Are we planning for that kind of capacity?
So we are, and we would do a lot of that through programming. So let's just take the amphitheater and the pool, which are probably going to be the two that draw the most. So any activity that we would plan in the pavilion would likely be, or would be off pool hours. So like a 7 o'clock on a Friday night, pool's closed, or a Thursday night concert series that starts at 7, pool's closed. So there wouldn't necessarily be a lot of events that happen at the same time. The only issue that you would have is on a Saturday, if you have a big rental in the gym in June, big family reunion, and then a big rental in the pool. However, we have that now with the Caven Center. We have big rentals now in the Caven Center and the pool. So when we have, in addition, all this additional parking, we feel like there's plenty of parking to supplement a large family reunion and the multipurpose room and the pool at the same time.
Okay. Back to the size, there, we're taking out the kitchen facility that's used not very often, but still it's there. And there's no kitchen facility in the new one. There is at the current Caven Center. So how is that gonna handle things like weddings and receptions and all that kind of stuff?
So as of right now, both facilities will have kitchen facilities. So the office building with the party room, there is access to a kitchen, basically it's down the hallway. And then as you'll see, when we finalize the plans or get closer to the the floor plan of the multipurpose facility, you'll see in there where we do have kitchenette facilities with double ovens to warm food and whatnot.
Now, it was briefed before, there would be no kitchen. There'd be a space to have the caterer unload his stuff.
Yeah, there'll be those similar facilities as well.
We're gonna talk about a place you can actually cook
Yes,
in the new one.
yes. When we get to, I don't have the updated floor plans for the
Okay.
gym yet, but even in the last facility renderings that you've all seen, there was a room in there designed for that type of activity that would service the people in the multipurpose facility. It had roll-up doors. It was in the old plan as well.
Okay. Anybody else?
Andrew, can you go through during the summer when the kids are at camp, the drop-off again? I'm not sure I copied that. So they're all coming in heading east. They'll have a drop-off area, and then somewhere they turn around to go back out west?
Yeah, so what we do now is we require all the parents to come in from this direction. So you'll see at times during the summer, the parents are lined up all the way down here. They go around the corner, and camp drop-off is right here outside the Caven Center. So essentially, it'll be the exact same thing. The parents have been conditioned now to come this way. So as opposed to dropping their kid off and going over to the playground, or they would just go into the multipurpose facility or continue to go to the playground. And so I don't know if I can expand this without, yeah. So you'll see that white line right here. So that's your drop-off line. So the parents will enter it right here, drop off in front of the facility. Traffic that does happen to be going in this direction will have the option to continue to go that direction. And traffic going this way would use this. So there's 1, 2, 3 lanes there, one drop-off and 2 directional traffic. But we do condition the parents to come from this direction and drop off. That's in all of our information we put out there. We've been doing it for 2, 3 years now.
Since COVID?
So it's a thing.
Okay, thank you.
So on so Fifth Street is gonna continue to go through, but it goes through the parking lot now.
Correct. So it is still, you are still able to get through, just not in a drag racing fashion like it is now.
Anybody else? Council? Public? Sure.
My name's Gene McCoskey. Don't know everybody up there. I was 8 years on the city council, and I think I chaired all 3 of the committees that are going to be meeting tonight. Also served 20 years in the city doing other things. So I care a lot about the parks. They're important to me. And I did want to make a couple comments about this. You know, we've heard anything from $10 to $20 million this could cost. And the thing I would just caution the aldermen about is you guys are going to make the decision on a significant capital investment that'll be around for the next 50 years. Because if you look at what's there now, it's been there for over 50 years, so project that out. Not very many communities are building pools, outside pools. The return on investment is a loser. In fact, meeting your operating costs are usually a loser. Not even talking about the bond debt for borrowing the money to build the pool. You're only operating 3 months a year, and you can't use that footprint for anything else. It's a pool. So most communities have gotten out of the pool business, so that's something for you to look at, think about. Also, this plan is a great plan, and Andrew and I talked about it a couple times already. There is another plan, and I chaired the master plan for the family sports park. And if you look at the original master plan for the family sports park, it includes the southwest quadrant, which is currently undeveloped, to have a community center, an amphitheater. If you go out there and you look at the terrain, it's built for that. You have access in and out easily. You're not going to have noise problems, mitigation with residential right around it, because we got a fire station and a railroad track and commercial, so it's not really going to have a problem there. So what I would say is make sure you get copies of the old master plan and you ask the right questions. That is this the right thing for 50 years, for the next 50 years for O'Fallon? Is it the right thing in the right place? I love Community Park. We had plans on what we would do with Community Park if we took all of the athletic fields off, if we took the swimming pool out, and it could be a gorgeous green space. It could have a lot of trails in it. You could repurpose Community Park for something other than it currently is. What the staff's done is redevelop something that already exists. What I would say is look at the master plan on the family sports park, be open to it, think about long-term, that multi-use gym or whatever you're gonna call it, community space, that's great for this park, but it's not great for the city. You need something bigger. And so this isn't the answer. There's gonna be another project sometime. It's gonna cost 20 or 30 million. You need to kind of assess, is this the right time to even think about that or not? I'm just bringing it to your attention. I know Andrew's got a copy of the original master plan. Did you bring it? And you can look at that quadrant of the sports park. We own it. It's sitting there. It's empty. It has parking available. And my goodness, at least consider it as an option. So that's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Vern Miller, Ward 3, and I want to compliment Gene for the points you just made. I mean, I had some of those thoughts in mind. I appreciate it very much that we're on the same page on this. And I see no reason why you want to mess it up, you know? You're eliminating, years ago, the track that's out there that used to be, it's still there, and you got 2 ball fields that are still there. Now you want to shove this in there, and according to your drawing, you're taking 3/4 of that existing field, then you're throwing another row of trees in there. Well, why don't you just shift the whole thing over, or let's just shift it out to where it really needs to go, out at the sports park. So I've had people say oh, we can't do that because of the mine shafts out there. Well, guess what? They're spending all kinds of money for that Meyer store over there, and what are they doing? Oh, wait a minute, they spent all kinds of money. I even worked on it out at St. Clair Square. We dug holes, dug down, found the mine shafts, blew balloons up down there, and filled it up with concrete. That would solve your problem if you want to go to that expense to use the sports park. If you were concerned about the coal mines out there, just fill them up with concrete. You're going to stick that kind of money, let's do it right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? We'll have a public comments area for other items just before we adjourn. So if you've got something that doesn't apply to this, you'll get your opportunity. Anybody else? Okay, you want to talk about the,
Yep. All right. So
whichever one you want to talk about?
that's fine. So we had some discussion on the trees that will be removed. So there's, I think, 13 or 17 trees that we'll take out for this particular project. These trees are down here that are kind of outliers. This one's dead, and this one's a small tree that will have to be removed to get the trail through. But I know there were some questions on that, so those are the trees. And then this is the landscaping plan for the new complex, and you can see, and I know this is really hard to read, and maybe this is a good point to ask Patrick to help me out and just show these boards that I have over here. I put these boards here so after the meeting you guys can get a close-up view of these types of things, and with Patrick's help, I'm just going to kind of explain which each board is, so when you go over there and look at it, you know exactly which one it is. So the first one on my left, Patrick's, is the overall rendering. That one that Patrick's at now, and right in front of him is just the new parking plan. It's more of an engineering drawing, but you can see it. Right behind him, just pick that one up so they can see it, Patrick. So when we did the park master plan meetings in 2019, this was the pool rendering that everyone voted for, and it was also the most popular on our surveys that we did out. We had 800, almost 900 surveys returned back, and that was the preferred method from the people who responded to the survey. And you can see 3 bodies of water, splash pad, basically exactly what we've designed, just kind of in a different configuration. But I thought that was relevant to bring tonight. Thanks, Patrick. The one behind that is the trail. So we're going to talk about the trail here in just a second. But this is just the overall picture of the park, and you can see where the new trail is going to be. It's a 10-foot wide multi-use path that was part of the grant. And then this next one is the one Gene mentioned. This was from the original park master plan in 2002, maybe 2004, somewhere in that area. I don't think there was a date on it, but you can see the original concept for the sports park where everything was laid out. So it's just kind of an interesting look at if you want to mosey over there after the meeting and just take a look so you have a better perspective of what Gene was talking about. And then finally, the other one on the far right-hand side is the one I'm talking about now, and that's just the landscaping plan. So again, you can go up and there's a legend on the lower left-hand corner. Mine is blurry, and it just tells you what kind of trees we're going to put them in, what replacements, how we're going to replace those trees. So we're not going to put them saplings in. They're going to be good trees, 10 to 12, inch and a half to 2 inches thick, and in a matter of 5 years, they're going to, less than 5 years, they're going to spring up and they'll be nice trees for the long term. So all those trees you saw us take out in that last photo, in this one you can see we're putting them all back plus another 30. So thanks, Patrick. So yeah, so this landscaping plan just calls out for trees. You can see the little different areas. Again, you can't see it on my rendering, but when you go over there, you'll see all the stuff we have planned. It's interesting. Oh, there it is. 36 new trees, part of the new plan. Okay, this is what Walter was alluding to when you talk about the event space. Those 3 pavilions are the replacement for the 3 pavilions we were taking out, and I just did a. As you can see, it's just a simple pavilion, but it's going to match kind of the architecture of the buildings that we have going in. And so I thought that was a good rendering to put. Okay. And as we skip forward here, this is the trail. Again, we got the Metro East Parks and Rec grant to do this trail. Originally, it was supposed to circumvent the entire park, but once we started being really thoughtful on where the new pool is going to be and the construction and the way we want the park to be fully accessible, this just made more sense. It's 0.85 miles if you just use the trail. Eventually, what we'd like to see is this trail probably will extend up to this sidewalk here so people can have access to the ball field. So if anyone did choose to park down here for baseball games, whatever, at least they would have a nice trail to get up here. Yes, it's still a little bit of a walk, and yes, people like to park next to the field they're playing on, but if they choose to get to the ball games that way, it'll be a nice walk. Okay, let me just take some notes here. Okay. So let's just talk about this area really quick. One of the things I wanted to talk about is what Jerry brought up, is that when you demo the old kitchen, the only thing in the kitchen right now is a refrigerator, an ice machine, and a 3-bay sink. So we want to be thoughtful on how are we going to replace that facility. There'll obviously be kitchen facilities in the new, in this new building, in the old, in the other park office where a lot of the event space will be taking place. They'll have this entire plaza here that will have access to kitchen facilities, access to restrooms. So when we talk about the overall plan for how this event space is going to be used, not only for big events like City Fest, but smaller events, we really envision all of the events shifting to the east. And so right now when we have City Fest, all the picnic tables are right here, the band is right here. So we really kind of see that shifting to the east, where the picnic tables are now in this area right here. We utilize the serving window that's already here and maybe put the ice machine and the through-bay sink in here. We utilize the outdoor area more. You could put all those vendors that are under the pavilions now, if they chose to, could be housed under here. So there's a lot of options when you consider the event space for City Fest moving to right here, or any event space, whether it's a church picnic or any large rental. This is where we see it shifting going, and then moving right up here to the grassy area and the bands where people are going to be listening to music or whatever. So like I said, our focus is shifting to the east more and utilizing more of the new space. So that's how we envision it. So this is a great time if you have additional ideas or you don't like something, I would love to hear some feedback on that, or just kind of your thoughts are on any of that focus that we're moving into, any of that focus, those things that we're focused on now.
Anybody have any comments? I was looking at the drawing here, and your comment about Fifth Street going through the parking lot. It looks like there's a whole bunch of parking spaces to the south of what the cars will be driving through on Fifth Street, unless you're going to block it off totally. There's a number of parking places along there, which means you're going to have cars backing out into traffic that might be going by. So I think you got a problem there. Again, and that's going to take some of the available parking space out if you don't get rid of them. We've always had a little bit of a parking problem and without the additional things you're going to put in. Things like the amphitheater probably are going to attract and should be out at the, in my view, should be out at the sports park. There's a place for them, and that would be a good place. You could build something that would be not. This is going to be grass terraces and a stage. So I think we need to think that one through. And we need to think the parking through too, especially the street going through there.
Yeah, those are great points. And I guess I would probably, I would probably get public safety to buy off on this as well. But I guess I'd envision people backing out much like they do when they back out in front of shooters or anything like that. You're backing the traffic and then going. So I guess my initial reaction is that's the same type of activity that would happen here, is people would just back out and then leave. But ultimately, I'd probably, we can engage public safety on that for sure. And then another thing, I know that it's been said that we're jamming a lot of things in and we're doing this, but in reality, we're just doing a one-to-one replacement. So you're replacing the Caven Center with a like-minded facility. So outside of adding a few more amenities to the pool, which is open a couple months of the year, we're not adding anything. We're just replacing an older facility with a newer facility. So I guess I don't really see that being stuffing more things into a small area when all we're doing is taking an existing 10,000 square facility, moving it to the other side of the road, and adding parking. If anything, I think this is going to improve the situation because we've increased the parking by quite a bit. So I guess that's kind of my reaction to that one, but we can certainly have some more discussion on it.
And I guess I would note that one of the complaints we've had in the park is that people are driving too fast on Fifth Street. And so with this concept plan, I would like to encourage residents, that this isn't a street at all anymore. It is a parking lot and an entrance into a park, and it is not a through street. If people want to go through, they can, but I don't know that we want to make it easy for people to go through it as a street. I think it needs to be a part of the park and not a public throughway.
Yep.
Yeah, Andrew, quick question.
Yep.
From a public safety standpoint, is there a slide or anything coming up that is going to highlight where all the new lighting fixtures will be?
We have not gone to lighting fixtures yet, so I don't have that information.
Okay, thank you.
And we were gonna talk about the floor plan of the new building, either one. The office building, which you said would have a kitchen facility and a meeting facility, right?
Yeah, and that was the one I showed last month. Let me see if we can blow it up here, and I can kind of give you a, yeah, so the party room's right here. This will service 80 guests, or 80-person rental. And then this is the kitchen facility I was talking about. So this is multi-purpose. We put it here for a reason. So if a renter just wants to come down and prep food, they're more than, or if they have a caterer, they can do that. Otherwise, there's access to the outdoor party deck right here. So if you're having, let's just say, an outdoor wedding or an outdoor event, this area can be served. You know, the current plan is to have multiple ovens so they can warm food and then move it out here to any kind of event that may be catered. So also, if we're serving guests, you know, this concession that serves the pool, there'll be a rolling gate here. So when the pool is closed or during any large event, this concession stand is now serving all the event space. So whether you're serving nachos or you're serving chicken strips, this concession stand and the restrooms can now service this entire area. So I think that's important to know the dual function of this kitchen, but also the concession stand as well.
And the size of the multi-purpose facility, the room?
It's about
compared to
1,000 square foot. It's about 1,000 square foot, so it'll seat 80 people.
And that's about a third of what we got now, right?
And in the Caven Center, yeah, probably maybe a little bit more or a little bit less.
Is that gonna impact the rental? I know we have people that have wedding receptions and all that kind of stuff in there.
So it'll be smaller venue for rentals, but then we feel like either potentially the multipurpose facility could serve the rentals, or we do envision a lot of outdoor weddings happening at the event space here at the stage as well. So,
And the other building?
I don't have the other building done yet. That was the one that we talked about last month. We're still in the design phase on that one, so I don't have the updated schematic that you, anything different than what you've seen last month. But it was the same type of arrangement. There was a party. There's this room right here is the one I was talking about that will service the event space area, and it's also a mini kitchen with warming ovens.
Just a matter of curiosity on that map, go back out.
Yeah.
There's a thing over there that says the Fountain Rotary Club pointing to a tree.
So funny thing is, I think when people mark their location on Google, that it just so happens that Google picks it up. So this is a Google thing. I didn't put that there. We laughed about that in the office. Like, why is there a Rotary Club in the middle of O'Fallon's community park?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Andrew,
Jessica?
to recap, can you talk about what our current rental looks like? So we've got the big room in the Katy Caven Center. What other rental space that's indoors do we currently have in the community park?
Oh, indoors, just a log cabin, which is over here, which
Okay, and that
incidentally will be
stays.
unaffected.
Okay, so we currently have the large room and the Katy Cavens and then the log cabin. And in this scenario, we've got the new Katy Cavens party room and the multi-purpose room for like trivia nights and things. But then in addition, the pool has 3 buildings, one of which contains an 80-person party room. Is that right?
Yeah, the third room, the third building they're referring to is the pump house. So
Right.
So I don't want people to be confused, like there's 3 rooms, but yeah.
Right, but I'm saying we're adding
Yeah.
more indoor spaces where the community can gather.
Yeah.
I guess is my question. And then between the multi-purpose party room at the new Katie Cavens and the pool one, will any of those have the ability to be partitioned? A resident brought that up last time, and several of us thought that was a great idea.
So I don't think the party room is probably big enough to partition, and we also have access issues as far as getting into the other room, but certainly the gym will be partitioned off in sections of 4.
Anybody else?
How big is the amphitheater?
Square footage wise?
Yeah.
I don't know, I couldn't tell you that. I'll have to get back to you on that.
And that grassy area right there by that?
So the grassy area is roughly the size of the pool is now.
So it would handle quite a few people sitting around.
And I think that's the vision. You want people there with their blankets and listening to the event that's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew, just curious, how much has the city invested in this design so far between engineering, consulting, man hours, et cetera, do you think?
Great question. So I think the master planning part, was approved up to 100,000. We didn't use all of that, so we might be at 80,000 for the master planning part. And then, I don't know if I could tell you how far along we are in the contract, the entire contract for the architecture.
Anybody else?
Okay.
Anybody else, public? Mark?
Okay, let's talk about the slides then.
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Picture of steroids in action. Anyway, Vern Miller, Ward 3. Alrighty, so according to your drawing there, you show Fifth Street supposedly gonna go through, but I see a bunch of trees and an island there in the middle there, so we're gonna negotiate by going up, around, and out? Is that how we're gonna use Fifth Street?
So it's a rendering, so I don't think we should be wrapped up in there's
Oh,
no
so
access.
you're-
It's just
well,
a
then
rendering.
If it's a rendering, then don't put the trees in the way where the street goes.
Well,
If
it's meant to,
That's what you're telling me.
okay.
Okay. In the, also in the event of, City Fest coming back whenever this happens, where are you gonna put the amusement rides?
The what?
The amusement rides the kids on, you're gonna put them in the parking lot? I thought the parking lot was gonna be used to park cars. I
mean,
know
it's-
now you have it using, during the City Fest, the parking lot for the rides. So when City Fest comes back, then I guess you're gonna put the rides back in the parking lot, correct?
It would really be a question for City Fest.
Where else you gonna put them?
I mean,
Oh,
there's,
maybe you got a baseball field, you could put them on it, that's where they used to be years ago, back in the real days when we had homecomings. Okay. Let's talk about the kitchens. Are they gonna be stainless steel? There's a code violation for that if they're not stainless steel.
as far as the
Stainless
countertops?
steel tops, stainless
Yes.
steel counters,
Yeah,
Merrimack
everything will be up
walls.
to Illinois Department of Public Health codes.
Okay, that you're going straight on that. And my final thought is, where are you going to store all this stuff at? You have nothing on there for storage areas, okay? That was a big thing in the government. You got to have a place to store your stuff. I don't see anything on there. You got storage areas in any of those buildings to store anything. Maybe you need to build a separate building just to store your stuff. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, guess we can move on. Cemetery update.
Let's just go through the slides
Oh,
really
the
quick.
slide, yeah.
That's okay. So we talked about the slides, and I provided 4 ranges of slides. And so you have the $300,000 slide, the $350, the $400, and the $475. Obviously, they get bigger as they go along. And so I think what's important to note about all 4 of these slides that you've seen is that in all likelihood, this is just to purchase the slide, the pillars, the steps, everything. So we still have to ship it here. We still have to install it. So when you consider the entire package, we're projecting to probably be around this $350,000 slide, and then the balance of the trust fund would go towards installation and shipping and all the other things. So I didn't want people to think like the entire package was the 350. That 350 is just to purchase the slide and the awning and all that stuff. So, and then another thing I wanted to point out is that we've talked about two different options here. There's a run out option, which kind of people just run out and then you get up and you step out, versus the slide that drops into the pool. So it is our thought and our best practice that we would do a run out slide, and for two different reasons. And this one would be just developed into a run out slide. You can see this one's from Water's Edge Aquatic Design, wherever that is. And but the reason why we like the run out slide versus the other slide is because when kids drop into this pool, you have to wait for them to get out of the way before the next person goes down. So if you have a kid who maybe doesn't swim that good, you could be waiting 30, 40, 45 seconds. And when there's a line of kids and it's 100 degrees, they want to be going. So if we went with the run out slide, it's a lot easier just to slide down, get up, stand up, and get out, and the next person's going down. And you could have two slides going down at the same time. So when we talk about those two options, that's what our preference is, just for the simple fact that we can get through the line quicker and people can go round and round. Okay, and then Mr. Carney asked me earlier today, what's the Ninja Crossing? What's the Ninja Crossing? So it's a great point. I think people who are in industry, we just kind of know, but we make assumptions that everybody knows as well. So a Ninja Crossing in that little area on the pool is just like it sounds. It's a way for the kids to traverse the water and then, drop into the pool. So here's an example of what a Ninja Crossing would be. Here's another version. We haven't really gotten to the point where we've knocked down the actual Ninja Crossing, but to whet your appetite and to show you exactly what they are, they're basically just an apparatus that spans the length of the pool that kids are supposed to try and work their way across without, and hopefully fall in the pool. That's what it's for. So that's what a Ninja Crossing is. Okay, and then the parking spots that we've talked about before. So we did some analysis on the parking, and using the ITE parking generations rates. 1 acre water park and a 10,000 square foot facility requires 187 spots. A 6,000 square foot office building requires 17 spots. So when you look at those ranges, we are within the limits for what the regulations call for. So we do have enough parking to, according to the regulations, they are a little subjective. I'll be the first to admit that. It's hard to pin down this, but we needed to start someplace, and we figured that this organization who does this for a living, we took the recommendation. So as of right now, we do have enough parking to supply all activities. And again, if you come up with a City Fest type event or whatever, there's other parking in the spots, or street parking, and that's why it gets so subjective. But I did want to point this out.
So that's 214 spaces on the new plan.
Total spots, yeah. So we have, I think, 118 in the old current, and then 96 in the new. So we'll have 214 spots.
And that includes those along
Yep.
the Fifth Street going through the park.
Mm-hmm.
And how many do we have currently?
90. We have probably just short of 100, because we don't have those new spots. So yeah, right around 100, I think.
Okay. Anything else on that? Yeah, you want to do the cemetery?
Yep. Any other final questions on parking?
Let's go back to the slide
Yes, sir.
just for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
We're spending $800 and some odd thousand.
That's what you approved
That's
from
what
the
we
Bill to Felon
approved.
Trust Fund.
Which one of these four will actually fall in the category that where we won't go over? That's counting the insulation, the shipping.
So the engineers are working on that now, and they're working on the pump size. They're working on how many feet of pipes it takes to get there. So they'll come back with that number when they're done with their analysis, and then we'll have that answer. But right now, we don't know.
In the 350,000 range, when you have, this is not counting it being turned into a runoff, right?
It's a good question. It said will be provided with runout, so I'm guessing it's going to be pretty close to that price as well with a runout.
Okay.
Is there a preference or a type that the council likes of those models or options better than another?
One that falls in our budget?
Yeah, and the one that goes to the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Well, we had different options. We didn't know if there's someone who, if you have a preference that you like, but.
Yeah, I like the runoff option, but I like slides 2 and 3, so if that's what you're asking for.
I like the idea that you have one that's opened, because there are children that don't want to be enclosed.
I think that's a great point.
And having one that's open, one that's closed, it gives them an opportunity to choose.
Yeah. And, with the runout, then you get to keep the ninja course, where if you put the pool into the water, then that eliminates the ninja course. So, if you like this feature, then, the runout's the way to go. Phew.
Yeah,
All right, that's it for the
Again, the
community park.
problem dumping them into the pool is that you've got a space there that nobody else can use, because you're gonna have bam, bam, bam.
Yep. Yeah, it is. You've eliminated that entire section outside of one kid at a time. Yeah.
And somebody's gonna have to be there to keep the kids out of there.
Yeah, the Illinois Department of Public Health requires someone at the top and the bottom, and they can't do anything else but watch that slide. So there's no, I can watch the kid go down the slide and then look over at the pool. They have to be designated to the slide, and it takes 2 people. So no matter what, we have to designate 2 people to the slide.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, cemetery update.
All right, we're in the home stretch. Yep, the columbariums got arrived last week. It was exciting to watch that crane and get it all going. The funny thing is, when you look at that picture, it looks like that strap's going to come off and that thing's going to go crashing to the ground. And Missy and I and the mayor were out there watching it, and our hearts were in our throat. But it got down okay. They got it all shimmed up, and so I think they look great. We're happy to have that project almost completed. We have one bench that we've ordered that was a donation from a group, and that bench is still on its way on the boat someplace. But yeah, otherwise, we got it all done, and we'll spend the next couple of years trying to figure out how we want to landscape that area in front of it so it looks as nice as it was when we started this project. But those are some of the things we're working on still.
Any comments on that one? Okay, staff reports?
Staff reports is just as typical staff reports you see every month. We got Superintendent of Parks and Superintendent of Rec, so.
Okay, time for any public comments about anything that we hadn't talked about already.
Hi, Karen Pfeiffer, Ward 2. Thanks for all your work with this. I think it looks great. But I have a question about when we're going to start on the next phase of pickleball courts.
I thought you'd ask that.
Just wondering if there's an update on that. Thanks.
Yeah, so the update is, if it's okay, so we've engaged the engineer to start drawing up the plans, looking at the facility and the site to try and figure out how can we move basketball, where are we going to put the pickleball courts. We've also engaged All Weather Courts to consult with the engineer on drawing up the plan. So we've started that process, and we hope to have it done by next budget year. Weather permitting, they would likely start it in the spring at this point. We would spend the next couple months doing the plans and putting it out to bid and getting contractors to bid on it. But the hope is to have it started in the spring. Mm-hmm.
Any other comments? Public?
Oh, question on the column events at the cemetery. Is there only 2 of them, or is there 4 of them?
There are 2 of them at this time.
You have footprints there for 4, correct?
We have footprints there for 8.
Well, okay, 8, 4, 6, whatever. I was just wondering, and then, I was there to see them, that was cool and whatever. but I was going to sit down over there and watch what was going on. And the benches that's out there must be installed for midgets because they're really low to the ground. Is there any way that maybe those could be raised up that normal-sized people can sit at them? Because I had to take a chair out of my truck to be able to sit down because they were extremely too low for me to sit at, and probably for other people who maybe want to rest when they're out there. I don't know, just a thought I'd let you know about. I had something else, but I can't remember it now. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, anybody else? I'd like to remind people that Wednesday night in here at 6:30 is a public town hall meeting about the park enhancements, so there'll be an opportunity for more comments and more thought. Again, this is not just something that's light, because 20 years from now, there's going to be a bunch of different people sitting here, and they're going to have the public out there saying, hopefully, they did a good job, or what in the heck were they thinking about? And we want to avoid that last one. Think about what this is going to be 20, 30, 40 years from now, because back 50 years ago when they designed the pool, they did, and look what they got. Look what the community park has been to the community. Okay? Anybody else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. I'm not sure we solved any problems. Huh? Oh, yeah. Huh? Yeah, I don't, there's gonna be, when you add the event space up, I don't know what Jessica was talking about. There's gonna be less, not more.
No, because the new kit cab is the same size as the current one.
Huh?
The new one's gonna be the same size as the current one. And then you'll have the stuff in the
No,
pool.
no, the new one is 1,000 square feet. The old one is 3,000 square feet.
Which one?
All right, we'll call the community development meeting together, or to order, rather. Roll call, please.
Yeah, Jerry Albrecht. Here. Nathan Parchman. Here. Jim Campbell.
Here.
Tom Vorse.
Here.
Stephanie Small here.
Here.
And Todd Roach.
Here.
All right, you have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. First up, 1.3, approval of minutes from our September 11th meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, minutes approved. Thank you. All right, first up, 2.1, ordinance annexing certain territory containing approximately 2.9 acres, generally located at 433 Scott Troy Road.
Yes, so we have been approached by the owners, Robert and Janet Pontius of 433 Scott Troy Road. What they are seeking is to annex approximately 2.98 acres, currently zoned agriculture in St. Louis or in St. Clair County. Would be zoned rural residential upon its annexation. Parcel does have an existing home. They are currently have a well that is running low on water supply, so they are seeking to annex to receive our public water system. Our water? Yes, our water, yep.
Didn't we, the property right next to it?
Yeah, so actually, yeah, you can see on that, the property just to the north of it was annexed, I believe it was just last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are recommending approval of the annexation, and if you have any questions, can certainly help you through that.
All right, any questions from the committee? Council? Public? Oh, Ross?
It's unrelated. I'm just curious, the property just to the south of it, the two properties, are those not annexed
Correct, yeah, those two properties are not annexed
currently? Okay.
currently.
Thanks.
Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, I'd look for a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the committee? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Jerry Albrecht.
Yes.
Nathan Parchman.
Yes.
Jim Campbell.
Yes.
Tom Vorse.
Yes.
Stephanie Small here.
Yes.
Todd Roach.
Yes.
All right. So this will move to council on the October 16th and wrap up with second reading on November 6th.
All right, thank you. 2.2, ordinance amending ordinance 623, zoning development known as Home 2 Suites at 357 Regency Park.
Yep, so Abigail Klein will be presenting this case for you guys tonight, and we'll move through that with her.
Thanks, Justin. So this is Home 2 Suites. It was originally proposed on the Central Park Drive development, and it is relocated to Regency Park. So you'll see above, that is the zoning map right now. This is the future land use map. And then this will be the surrounding districts. For this development, the access and circulation, there is 2 accesses to this development on the west and east side. For parking, the parking codes are met with our requirements. For parking lot lighting, the parking lot lighting photometric plan has not been submitted to us, but it will need to meet city code. For utilities, it will have the City of O'Fallon water, Caseyville Township for sewer services, Ameren IP will be electric and gas, and telephone and internet will be provided by Charter. For drainage, water inlets in the parking lot, extended storm sewer pipes to existing storm sewer that flows to the pond in the southeast development by Dewey's Pizza. For sidewalks, there will be 4-foot concrete sidewalks proposed along Regency Drive. For landscaping, they have provided a landscape plan that will provide a variety of trees and shrubs. The landscape plan will meet the city's intent for requirements. Signage, the development will be subject to 1 freestanding sign, but they may utilize directional signs for the entrances. We have not been provided those details yet, but however, they will be able to have 4 elevations on the building. For this building and site plan improvement, it does conform with our commercial design guidelines. And these are the recommendations that the staff has approved. Please let me know if you have any questions.
All right, thank you. And it looks like we do have the cross connects with the
Correct.
adjacent properties.
Yes.
All right, any other questions from the committee? Yes, sir.
What's the comparison between tax income, property tax and sales tax versus, well, this kind of development versus the three individual lots that could be some kind of restaurant? The original plan was that these outlots were going to be restaurants or food establishments or something.
Yeah. I don't have a clear answer for that. It takes some time to research various restaurant sales, and then also what our hotels put out in terms of hotel motel tax. But I would assume, based on the size and scale of the building, that the property tax would be much larger.
Property tax, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, and-
to how those two would relate with sales tax and
Well, the hotel motel tax is higher than the food and beverage tax, and with the density of rooms there versus a smaller footprint on a restaurant, you'll generate more revenue through hotel motel tax than you will with food and beverage on a restaurant.
Do we have any idea about occupancy rates on the rest of our multitude of hotels?
Yeah, this is the last time that we had information provided to us on that. They were extremely high. The applicant, Daryl Shelton, is here. He provided some information to our planning commission about why the demand for hotels are high. So if you'd like to have him provide that again to you guys, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to do that.
Who is Ohm? I've never heard of these guys before.
This is a Hilton product. Yep. So it's a Hilton flagship.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions from the committee? Council? Yes.
Is the elevation approved on 4 sides because of its like that Regency area? That's already part of what's been approved for anybody that develops there?
Exactly
Okay.
correct, yeah.
Okay.
So we amended the ordinances to allow 4-side signage on Regency and Central Park
Gotcha.
and a couple other areas along those corridors.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council?
There's 2 other sites south of that. Have we had any inquiries about those?
Several years ago, we were working with the owner of those sites, which is the applicant for this, for a restaurant space. Ended up falling through, but up until this point, they've been looking to get some additional medical office as a part of their development plans, but nothing has come to fruition at this point.
All right, any other questions from the council? Public? Yes, sir.
Fernware, Ward 3. The administrative council made points, I don't know, a couple months ago in regards to the town was needing 2 additional hotels. Now, does this fill the void for that with the one that's going up on Highway 50 and Greenmont Road? And this one going in there is the other one that would make 2. Now, are we considering any more hotels going in the O'Fallon area now?
At this time, so this was also, as Abigail mentioned, this was approved previously on the site next to, across the street from like Northern Tool and Club Fitness. They're moving this to this site. So I would assume, based on the comments that you heard previously, this site and the Spring Hill site would be the 2 that
Now,
the
that's the
market.
site that was approved where they were gonna build apartments around. And then in that circle area, then they were gonna put a restaurant to be named later. That's still in the process.
We're working with the ownership group
Okay,
for that.
that's cool. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions? All right. Hearing none, then I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the committee? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Nathan Parchman?
Yes.
Jim Campbell?
Yes.
Tom Vorse?
Yes.
Stephanie Small here?
Yes.
Jerry Albrecht?
Yep.
And Todd Roach?
Yes. All right, that's approved, and we'll go to the next meeting.
Correct.
All right, 2.3, ordinance amending, ordinance 623, zoning development known as My Bowl Korean Barbecue.
Yes, and Ryan Auer will be presenting this case.
Thanks, Justin. Yep, this is the video game application for My Bowl Korean. Currently zoned as B1P, it's commercial, and is surrounded by a mixture of commercial and office uses. As you can see in the timeline listed above, at the top, the food and liquor license was obtained in June of 2020. And they have maintained a liquor license in good standing for a minimum of 2 years, and that's the minimum requirement for video gaming on site. Again, currently zoned as B1, it's Planned Community Business District. This is just an amendment for the planned use, so that is required for the video game terminal, so that does not change the B1P zoning. And staff recommends the approval of the planned use for video gaming terminals.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Any questions from the committee? Council? Public? All right, hearing none, I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the committee? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Jim Campbell.
Yes.
Tom Vorse.
Yes.
Stephanie Smallhair.
Yes.
Jerry Albrecht.
Nope.
Nathan Parchman.
Yes.
And Todd Roach.
Yes. All right, we'll send that one on to the next meeting as well. And 2.4, ordinance creating a PACE area and establishing the Illinois Finance Authority Property Assessed Clean Energy Program.
Yes, so the city of O'Fallon was approached by the Illinois Finance Authority, which is a state agency to help a development that was previously approved called the Hampton Manor. This is the project up at Kyle and Lincoln. It's a senior living facility. And they are investigating the ability to use the state's PACE program. It is a way for owners and developers to finance some eligible cost, and that PACE program focuses on eligible improvements that create clean energy. So they can use those things for energy efficiency, renewable energy, resilience, water use. Electrical vehicle charging stations are all types of uses that are eligible to be financed through this program. They can, it's a property tax assessment, and the process includes kind of a bond to create those financing things. The city of O'Fallon is not the issuer of these bonds. It's sort of like a pass-through, but we have to enact this ordinance to allow the state to assess the property and create this program. We've verified through their group that they do not hit against us if we go out for a bond rating. There's no attachment to the city of O'Fallon in these things. And so really what we envision this as a potential is to allow other developers in long-term to utilize this program as an economic development tool when they need to work on different ways to finance projects. So Sandy was on a call with the Illinois Finance Authority. Terry Bruckert, who we use for some special legal counsel, was on that call. All feel very comfortable with the program, and so we are recommending approval of this ordinance.
Thank you. So this would establish it citywide, so we wouldn't have to take this up?
That's my understanding, yes. This creates O'Fallon City proper as a designated area that you can utilize PACE.
Kind of like a gigantic TIF.
I wouldn't say a TIF because it's an assessment on their own property. So it's a gigantic SSA.
They're paying for it,
right?
Essentially through property tax. That's the collateral, so that the agency knows that they'll get their money back.
Correct. Yeah. So I would say an SSA versus a TIF. But obviously, there is some control that we still maintain that, and I can check with you before city council if there's like an additional agreement that has to be signed and come to city council if it's used in a different program or a different project.
But to clarify then, with, this does not, like a TIF would, this would not take away property tax from the schools or any other taxing district?
It is not that at all. It's a assessment on their property that actually increases their property tax.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. Any other questions from the committee?
So there is no impact on the school.
Well, there's impact on the school in that, you know,
But
this
it's positive.
development comes on board now with this special financing, that property tax is now realized versus it not being constructed.
So they don't get the property tax.
If it doesn't get built, they don't get property tax,
Yeah.
right? And so now if they can get this special financing to help finance the last piece of their project, now the school gets property tax because
And
you've
that
got a
doesn't
bid
affect
development.
the assessed valuation of the property.
Correct, no.
And if they fold,
It's all a deal between the state government and the developer. We're not involved at any point.
except as the pass-through for the
Right.
bonds.
Yep.
Any other questions from the committee? All right, council? Anyone from the public? All right, hearing none, I entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion from the committee? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Tom Vorse,
Yes.
Stephanie Small here,
Yes.
Jerry Albrecht,
Nope.
Nathan Parchman,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
and Todd Roach.
Yes. All right, we'll send that one on to the council. All right, special event permit, 2.5, request for Vine Street Thanksgiving Market.
Yep, so Abigail will be presenting the 3 SEPAs for you guys, so.
Thanks, Justin. So this is a special event permit for the Vine Street Thanksgiving Market. Vine Street Market is the applicant. This event will take place on November 18th from 9 to 12. They will have a live band. They're going to have a variety of vendors. They will have a Casa Maria food truck there. Crooked Creek Winery will be offering some tastings along with selling some bottles of wine, and Gear will be selling beers and mixed drinks. The anticipated attendance is about 1,000 to 1,800 people. And they will, as they have in past events, they will have signage saying no alcohol behind this point. For the city assistance, we do have road closures from East First Street, from Vine Street east of O'Fallon Station parking lot, with the west entrance being closed. Type 1 barricades as well as vehicles will be provided by O'Fallon Parks and Rec Department and will be placed to block the vehicle traffic from entering the area. Access to the houses along East First Street will not be affected as they can utilize East Second Street and South Apple to access their on-street parking in front of their homes. The west driveway to the O'Fallon Station parking lot will be closed. The intersection of East First Street and Vine Street will remain open to travel south on Vine Street and west on East First Street. This is just a site plan of how the vendors will be placed along with the traffic. And these are the staff recommendations. Please let me know if you have any questions.
All right, thank you.
Could you go back to that vendor map?
Any other questions from the committee? From the council?
Yes. What is the hours of operation?
It was 9 to 12,
Same as Vine Street Market.
correct?
Actually, 8.
An hour shorter.
All right, any other questions from the council? Public? All right, hearing none, I'd entertain, I'll go.
So that's going to be open, Vine Street, correct?
Correct.
It won't be shut down like the market?
It is not going to
See,
be
that's,
shut.
I see when that's open like that, like you'll see people, they get so conditioned with the market that being closed that like kids and people just walk and run out. You know, so I think flipping it from open to close, different times like we do, like it confuses people because they don't watch. So just a little safety thing I've noticed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? All right, hearing none, I entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion. I'll second. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the committee?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd like to propose that we amend the restrictions to include closing Vine Street because people walk across there without looking. It's hard enough down on Lincoln, but that, you're just asking for it.
Okay.
So,
All right, so that was a motion.
Yep.
Then we have a second.
I recommend that we amend the what do you call it, restrictions?
Conditions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the staff recommendations.
There you go.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second to amend the staff recommendations to close off Vine Street. So any further discussion on that?
Yeah, just who seconded that? Okay, thanks, Tom.
So any discussion from the committee on that? Nope. All right, then we will take a vote on the amendment to close Vine Street. So roll call, please.
Stephanie Small here.
Yes.
Jerry Albrecht.
Yes.
Nathan Parchman.
Yes.
Jim Campbell. Yes. Tom Vorse.
Yes.
Todd Roach.
Yes.
All right.
All right, so now we're going to vote on the amended special permit with the Vine Street Market closed as amended. So roll call on that, please.
Jerry Albrecht.
Yes.
Nathan Parchman.
Yes.
Jim Campbell. Yes. Tom Vorse.
Yes.
Stephanie Small here.
Yes.
Todd Roach.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And we'll work with the Parks Department to get that changed.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, next up, special event permit request for hot rods for Hope Car Glow.
Thank you. The applicant is Glow for Hope, non-for-profit. And again, the event name is Hot Rods for Hope Car Glow. This event will be held on November 9th from 5 to 11 p.m. They will have a live band. There will not be any vendors or food trucks. They do have a special tent that they will place out to sell plastic cups and glow bracelets. Also, they will have an area to display an honor glow wall and sell merchandise to raise money. First Street Lounge and Peel Pizza will be serving the alcohol outside of their establishments. Anticipated attendance will be about 600 people. Signage, there will be signs placed in front of those two facilities that strip saying that no parking after 6 p.m. on November 8th. There will be no city assistance. You will see that, sorry, it's faint, but you'll see the highlighted areas are the places that will be blocked after 6 p.m. so they can get prepared for the event the following day. These are the recommendations that the staff has approved.
And one of note, you know, our noise ordinance requires all amplified music to be done at 10 p.m. So we've made them aware that they'll have, the 11 p.m. is the tear down and getting everything kind of picked up. So they are aware that the band needs to stop by 10 p.m.
Okay, so they're gonna shut down parking at 6 p.m. on Friday night for that entire stretch?
For that, from what they had explained to me, they're gonna close it in front of the storefronts for them to set up tents.
Yeah.
So not the highlighted area?
Yeah, so for the closing of, for that no parking to get set up is just from like Peel to First Street.
Okay.
Yeah. But then the car show is
Will be
that
on the
whole
other side.
area.
And so what time will they shut that down?
Can you flip back, because it's on
Yeah.
no conditions. I apologize, I do not have that answer. I can get that for you and send it to you guys. I don't have that on.
Yeah, there's just a large amount of area, depending on when they plan on closing it down, there's a huge amount of parking for the downtown area.
Yeah, I'm almost sure, but we'll verify. Oh,
we have-
she's- yeah, perfect, great. Do you want to will you come up to the microphone, please?
It's always good when we have all the answers right here.
Okay, so the plan is that it's actually on a Thursday night. It's not on Saturday like it says. It's Thursday, November 9th. And so kind of like the district nights where
Okay.
we have the whole block there closed off and a car show that'll go on. The cars will go in the actual parking spots. We'll have a band, which I think we originally indicated would be like right in front of First Street. But now since Peel is participating, we'll go probably in front of the caboose. And then, I mean, we would just shut down those two areas, just those, both ends of that. In respect to the other businesses that are open, they all close at 6 on Thursdays, from what I'm told, other than Peel and First Street Lounge. So there shouldn't be anybody else impacted.
So what time would you close all of it down?
At 6.
The night before?
No, no.
Oh, I'm
The
sorry.
signage, we would put out like no parking after 6 PM on the next Friday, just to give warning and then we would close off the streets. I think I put it in there, like to barricade it at 5:30, but then we would have attendants at each end so that any remnants of parking from the businesses that were still open would be able to be let out, but no one else would be able to come in, and then the cars would arrive at 6.
Okay. So the 5 to 11 encompasses the entire
Everything.
time okay.
Yeah. The actual live event portion of it would be like 7 to 10.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you so much for clarifying. All right. Any other questions from the committee?
Could we go back to the application? It says the application, the location is 106 East 4th Street. That's your address? Well, then that's not the location.
Yeah, sorry, it's First Street.
I
That's
was
that-
confused.
We grabbed her location, not the
Okay.
First Street, so.
So we're talking about First Street?
Yes, yeah, that was her address, sorry. Yeah.
Did you guys read this stuff? I mean, committee?
And then also, like she said, the date is a Thursday, November 9th. The slide said Saturday.
Yeah, the location on the agenda has it correct. It says First Street between Lincoln and Cherry.
I assume they've coordinated this with the businesses.
I think what she had said is that they close at 6, so it should not interfere with the other businesses on that section of First Street. You would still
Because
have.
those businesses are all closed down by 6 PM.
First Street Lounge and Peel Pizza are participating in the event.
Yeah, okay.
Those are the only two that are open after 6.
So the only ones you would have would be the next blocks over, which we're not talking about closing that parking off.
No, just that one, just all that part.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. Any other questions from the committee? Council? Anyone else from the public? All right, and thank you again for helping share that information. Appreciate it. All right, with that, I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the committee? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Nathan Parchman?
Yes.
Jim Campbell?
Yes.
Tom Vorse?
Yes.
Stephanie Smallhair?
Yes.
Todd Roach?
Yes.
And Jerry Albrecht? Yep. All right, so this will be a motion to committee, or to council next week.
Great, thank you. 2.7, special event permit request for Sam's Club, Make It a Merrier Tour.
Thank you. So this will be, the applicant is Retail Sports Marketing, and the applicant is Mark Edwards. The location is 1350 West Highway 50, which is Sam's Club. Again, the name of the event is Sam's Club Make It Merrier Tour. This will be held on November 2nd from 2 to 6 p.m. This event is for samples to be taken place at Sam's Club, so they'll be taking food from that facility, and they will be doing samples of things that they sell in their stores. So they will have a food truck to prepare those items, and they will be placed out under tents for sampling, along with multiple vendors that will have prizes and giveaways for the people that test. The city staff has recommended this special event request with the following conditions.
All right, thank you. Question though, does Members Mark or Sam's or whoever that is already have a permit with the food truck with us?
So they know that they need to get that food
Okay, so they-
license.
okay.
Yeah, they're very well aware of the process, and they've got to also get their St. Clair County.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it before, so I was.
Yeah,
curious.
yeah, so nope.
That's Sam's marketing.
Right, I just hadn't heard of them having a food truck. so-
Correct, yes. It's not a local thing. This moves around
Gotcha.
the region.
Gotcha, okay.
Have they done anything like this before in this parking lot?
They do like they have like their seasonal displays, you know, in the parking lot. This is the first time that I can remember something like this in my time.
I'm just wondering, since they have a food truck preparing the food for these tents, if it shouldn't be moved, one of these other parking lanes or something like that, because this lot is crazy, especially on a Saturday.
Yeah.
With all the people walking around and the cars, and I don't know, it's gonna be congested.
If you would like it moved, I'm assuming they're putting it there, one, to stay out of their accessible parking spaces, but two, to be kind of near the entrance, to get as many people to go by there as possible. But, yeah, if you think of a better place, we can have them move that location.
I don't know, what does anybody else think about it? I don't know.
Well, in one sense, I agree with you, being further away or towards the northern side there would probably be better, but it's also their private lot, their customers, so.
Yeah, I get it.
So I would kind of say if they want to make a traffic jam in their lot, then we'll let them.
I have one.
Yep, go ahead.
These are like vendor tents for Vine Street?
Yeah, they
will be weighted down?
Right, yep, all those
They know
weighted.
that?
I believe, did Chad add that? Yeah, so they have to be, tied down.
We had some last week that appeared that weren't.
Okay. For which event? For the market?
Huh? At the market.
At the market, okay, gotcha.
All right. Any other questions from the committee? Council? Public? Which most have left. All right. Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the committee? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Jerry Albrecht.
Yep.
Nathan Parchman.
Yes.
Jim Campbell.
Yes.
Tom Vorse.
Yes.
Stephanie Small here.
Yes.
Todd Roach.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
That'll finish up next week at council. Just have a couple other items for you guys, just real quickly. One, to let you know about the Illini Trail signage package. We have issued an RFP for our local sign manufacturers and obviously anybody else that wishes to apply. We've been working with Atomic Dust, who has helped us with a lot of our marketing and downtown signage and stuff like that. And one of the things out of the strategic plan and budget cycle for this year was to install wayfinding along our trail system. And the first one we've done is Illini Trails. So we'll have several different sign types. The big, large ones are trailhead markers. So these would show up at State Street, where the trail kind of dead ends into State Street, as well as at the northern extent up at the water tower on Kyle Road. We have several other like smaller ones that are kind of clipped by the zoom on your screen, but those would be located at secondary access points to the trail. So like at Madison, where the bridge is, and you got the switchback ramp up to it. We'll have those at Hesse Park, at the end of Illini Trail, the actual road, or Illini Drive. We'll have those. And then some wayfinding at other areas where, especially where the trail ends and is on road. We'll have some directional, like to, hey, downtown this way, Hesse Park this way, Sports Park this way. And then along the Illini Trail, we'll have some signage that goes on the stop signs so that people know that they're actually on the trail. And then at like Fairwood Hills where it intersects, create some like cross, like just a FYI, here's the Illini Trail and stuff like that. So Ryan did a great job putting together the package. You can see all the signs, where they're located on the agenda packet. But I think a really neat opportunity as well to begin to provide additional signage and wayfinding along our trail system. We've also worked on that bottom screen. There's a sign that's going to be a historical sign. So we've been working with the Historic Preservation Committee to come up with the history of this trail line, which is really kind of fascinating based on it being the old rail line. So some really neat opportunities to kind of just explain how the trail got here and what it used to be, before it became a trail. So any questions on that?
The committee, council, public? All right. And then last, your report, I did have one for this. So on the report, it talks about the old mansion property. And I know it was in, I think there was a news article about it. It obviously sits in Ward 4. I got a resident that is in the townhomes there behind, or the duplexes behind there. They were concerned about, because it's going to be used as event space, noise and how late, and do we have any idea about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I can find out more information, but generally they'll still have that 10 o'clock cutoff time for noise and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, we can try and get you additional information.
Yeah, they were just concerned that like wedding, you got speakers and everything, because it backs right up to a number of those yards.
Right. Yeah, and that's what the space was used previously for, and so that's why you guys didn't see anything for it, is that it had already been approved for that type of use. So, but yeah, I would certainly try and find out sort of their operation plan for you.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, then last, any additional public comments?
I think we weeded them all out.
We might have, we might have. No one? Wow, all right. All right, then hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. You have to go.
I know, he's like, wait, what about public